Here is a sample argumentation essay that is not on the topic you have been assigned, most likely. I don't like to give you a sample essay on the topic you have been assigned, especially in the argumentation essay, because I want you to come up with your own arguments and your own research to help you back up your arguments. I don't want you to just copy what someone else has already done. So, format, you can see 12-point Times New Roman font. You have your heading in this order. There is no space, no line spaces between the heading and the title, or between the title and the rest of the essay. You have a creative original title. You should come up with a compelling title. You should also start your essay with a hook, something interesting to get your students interested, or your readers, interested in your essay topic, and it should be general. It should really, if I have posed a question or asked you to make a choice, you should start with something that is about the topic of the choice. What is the context of that choice? You shouldn't start with your choice. Don't assume that every reader is going to understand that you are being asked to make a certain choice about an issue. So explain the issue a little bit first, and use the first sentence to grab the reader's attention about that issue, maybe with a fact that you have found, or a scenario. A scenario can be a made-up something, like what if blah blah blah. Give us a story about someone who may be impacted by that choice. Again, it doesn't have to be the person that decides your choice, but just a simple scenario to get your reader interested. Or again, a fact would be fine as well. You don't want to go ever finding random quotes that are out of context. So do not start with a quote that you find in a quote database where you don't understand the context of that quote. So if you use a quote, for example, from Abraham Lincoln, you should be able to cite that quote from its original source, and that source should not be a quote database like Quote Garden. I love quote databases. They're fun, but they do not constitute research, so it will not count as something you have researched if you use that. So veer away from that in academic writing. So you're starting with a hook and then some background or context for the issue you're discussing. And then you're going to end with your thesis statement, which should tell me what you want me as the reader to believe or do as a result of what you're going to present in the essay. So if I were writing an essay about whether or not I should be a person who prioritizes financial gains or doing a career that is within my passion, those are my choices, I might end up with a thesis like this. Therefore, one will help oneself and the world by following a passion rather than pursuing the highest paycheck. So that is the topic of this essay, so that is why this student used that very good thesis statement for this essay. If I were writing about whether or not I should prefer hard tacos to soft tacos, then my thesis statement would pertain to clearly for, you could have reasons for convenience and messiness and taste. One should always go with a soft taco. Could be that. So it doesn't matter what topic you're using, you're still going to follow the basic guidelines of start with an attention-grabbing hook, give some background or context, and then end your topic or your introductory paragraph with the thesis statement. What do you want me to believe or do? Then you're going to present your evidence in your body paragraphs. You're going to start with a main idea or topic sentence in each body paragraph, and it could be more than one sentence. So you may have a couple of sentences or several sentences that kind of get at that main idea before you're ready to introduce support for that idea. And your support should come from a source. So you're going to say who you are quoting and give me some credentials for that person. Could just be their publication, or in this case it is a talk. And then give me a direct quote from that source. Because this student introduced the source by name, and we know the name of the source, the author is going to be first in the works cited for that source. Here's the author's last name. We can go to the works cited and see. Can we? Yes, here's the works cited. So that is what I see first in the works cited. So introducing the quotation with that person's name is all I need to go and find that source. So that's why this one does not have a parenthetical citation. It's kind of the hold the mustard if you follow the quote burger format. The mustard is the parenthetical citation. That means we can put the period or leave the period inside the quotation marks because we're not waiting for the end of the parenthetical citation. Then, after you have quoted a source, you need to touch on the most important idea that you understand from what the source has said. So a sentence or two or three even, reiterating your understanding of the main idea or important idea that source has represented or presented in the research you did. And then answer so what. This last sentence is a concluding sentence in the paragraph. You don't want to use the word in conclusion or phrase in conclusion, but you can say a good transition word is something like clearly or evidently, or you can just start if you feel like you've used good transitions throughout and it naturally flows to not start with a transition word. You might be able to work that in very well as well. So make sure that all of your paragraphs start with a main idea, then introduce a source, telling the reader why they should believe that source, basically. Who is this person? What is the context of their writing or speaking? So that we can understand more about how you did your research, what research it was, what's the context of this quotation. And then the reiteration of the big important idea from that person, and then a concluding sentence that ties the main idea of this paragraph to what you have written with your source citation and explanation. And it should also tie back to the thesis of the whole paper. You're going to do that for other parts of your argument. So you're having support for your argument. Here's another paragraph that is support for your argument using another source. And in this one, the impact or the way to introduce this quotation effectively was just to name the journal that it was in. And so the authors, there are 3 authors in this one, so they appear in the parenthetical citation. There are no pages for this one, so that's why there is no page number here, just the author's last names. Notice there is no period at the end of the citation or the quotation, and the period goes after the parenthetical citation. Then a reiteration of the most interesting point in the student writer's own words, and tie the point made here back to the main idea of this paragraph and the thesis statement here. Always point your reader back to what it is that you are proving. So here is the counter-argument paragraph. This next paragraph, now instead of presenting an idea that the writer wants you to believe, they're addressing what other people might believe. So attributing these ideas to other people is important. So this student writer says many are of the opinion that, and then you can say what other people might think. You might say, some believe blah, blah, blah. Or it is often said that blah, blah, blah. So this is the counter argument, and this is a source that agrees with the other side, the counter argument. And then the student writer, validates that point. Yeah, this is a good point. Okay? But then in the concluding sentence starts to create a rebuttal. This is not rude or insulting. This is what you do to transition from here's what other people believe to what I believe. And you're not going to ever say I believe. You're going to use third person pronouns. So this is what one, here's a good third person pronoun, this is what one should believe in this situation. And then using, I would say, your most powerful source, create the rebuttal paragraph. So you're back to really driving home the point that you want to make in this essay, and you're using another source. Really, your most powerful source is what I would use for the rebuttal, because you've presented your side in 2 paragraphs, now you've presented the other side, and here you're going to come back to your side and say why it really is the most important choice or the best choice to make. And then, of course, you have your concluding paragraph that starts with the thesis restated in a new way. So maybe some of the same words, but not in the same order. Okay, so it's a new sentence, a different way of saying the same thing that you said in this thesis statement. So I encourage you to print the sample and take a look at it. Take a look at it closely. What are the moves being made in the essay, and how should you make those same moves in your essay? Then you're going to hit the high points of the points that helped you prove your position, and then leave your reader with what you want them to do or believe as a result, without using the word I, but for example, here's a good one. By choosing to follow their passion, people will not only make a difference for the good in their own lives, but also in the world around them. You don't actually need a comma there, but that's okay. The idea is a good one. So it's a good, here, let me leave you with this idea kind of sentence. All right, so then you have the works cited. It should be the last page of your essay. You can go to insert and then break page to create that. They should be in alphabetical order, and these are. There are no extra spaces between the entries of the works cited page, and there is a hanging indent. So make sure you create a hanging indent for your essay as well. There, you should have your last name and page number. Again, you can click insert for page numbers. Go to insert, go to page number, top of page, and then plain number 3 is the one to click on, and you will type in your last name. And then the font is wrong, so highlight it, change the font to the standard font for all essays, Times New Roman. You may have to scroll way down if you haven't used it recently. There it is, and make it 12 point. And if you don't want that to appear on the first page, you can hit different first page and it should go away, but it may not because I have just gone over what this person has just done. So yeah, I sort of messed theirs up. I redid theirs. That's okay. You're not going to already have page numbers if you need to go through those steps. For the hanging indent for the works cited, if you have not created a hanging indent, you can highlight your whole works cited without the title, leave the title centered, go to insert, oh, not insert, sorry. Go next to the word paragraph, click this little box. Under special, it may say none or it may say first line. You want to click on hanging and then click OK, and it will keep that hanging indent or create it if you don't have it there already. All right, let me know if you have questions, and good luck with the essay.